Hello everyone, welcome to StraightA. Dawson here, back on our video here today, and we are going over NFL Week 14 recap, and it's pretty good stuff, damn good week of football, which really is kind of surprising with 6 teams out this week, including my Broncos and the Ravens, which are a really good team, so very surprising indeed, but we're going to jump right into it. The Lions win 34-31 against the Green Bay Packers, extending their lead to 12-1, basically solidifying that they are going to be the number 1 seed here in the NFC. The Packers really put up a fight. Like, when I say that the Lions did a damn good job on offense, I mean they do what they always do. When I say the Packers did something great on offense, it means that they just put on a masterclass. Now, granted, I think this is where we have seen the first flaw from the Lions, the first gaping flaw as we enter the playoffs. Their defense is definitely not up to par for the playoff run. They still have a few more weeks to get some healthy players back, but it's not looking amazing, because I don't know if the Detroit Lions, against every single defense for 3 games in a row, can put up the points they do. I hope they do, but damn is all I gotta say. Either way, let's talk about it real quick. Jordan Love did damn good. I mean, all things considering, he did pretty good. Josh Jacobs was the main story, though. He was reliable in the backfield. Christian Watson was the guy in the air today. Defensively, the Packers put up as much as they could. It was not enough. I mean, when you're facing the Lions, they're going to run all over you, and Jared Goff is just going to go all over you. 32 for 41. 283, 3-1. That's so impressive. David Montgomery was the main story here. Jahmyr Gibbs actually was quilled pretty well. Green Bay was able to get them, mostly because the Green Bay secondary is pretty good, so they kind of they schemed well around Jahmyr Gibbs, but David Montgomery's just a bowling ball, so he got a little bit more momentum. Tim Patrick, good for him. As a Broncos fan, it's good to see him actually get 2 touchdowns. I don't know how he feels about the Broncos, but I'm glad he's doing well. 2 touchdowns with Lions there, first time in like 3 years. Good for him. Sam Laporta, Jameson Williams, everybody was getting involved in the air. The Lions were just on offense cooking. Defensively, they were quite quiet. And against a team like Green Bay Packers, I think the Green Bay Packers are a top 5 team. But there's a lot of teams that can be at top 5. And if their defense doesn't play better going into the playoffs, it's going to be worrisome. Now, granted, what I will say is their secondary is still playing very, very well. They are doing some good stuff there. Brian Branch, Terrion Arnold, all are kind of like showcasing some very, very good skill, and they're just as good as I thought they would be this year. The defensive line, though, is getting ran up all over, and long term, I don't know if that is sustainable for the playoffs. Either way, very good game there. Steelers-Browns, boring game, but Jameis Winston's always fun because, he's always going to basically even out his ratio of touchdowns and interceptions. Steelers take the win here. Honestly, I didn't even think about the fact that the Steelers get the 1 seed. The Steelers beat the Chiefs. The Chiefs just have to lose 1 game. The Steelers win out, and the Steelers still the 1 seed. At this point, the Steelers have a better chance than the Bills to have the 1 seed because the Bills lost this last week to the Rams. I am rooting for the Steelers, man. I cannot believe I'm about to root for Russell Wilson to beat that fucking head of Patrick Mahomes. And I'm going to pick them to do it because I think they're going to do it. Either way, Jameis Winston, he's fun. I mean, at the very least, he's fun. Nick Chubb, unfortunately, just didn't get as much love, but they're finally splitting him with Jerome Ford. I guess they're finally realizing Nick Chubb is just not fully healthy yet, and Jerome Ford, he's pretty efficient. Now, this game he wasn't, but he usually is pretty efficient. Jerry Jeudy, still the number 1 guy there. David Njoku, still great tight end there. Elijah Moore gets involved quite a bit, but not enough, I guess. Defensively, the Browns just did not do the work this game. This is pretty rough. The Steelers, on the other hand, very, very good game from Russ. He's very efficient. I got to give it to him. He doesn't put up the yards every game, but he either puts up yards or he puts up good ratios. And 158 and 2, very, very good. Najee and Jalen Warren, still good duo. Najee, of course, gets bulk of the work, but Jalen Warren's a nice little breath of fresh air for the offense. Pat Freiermuth found the end zone. Nobody else was really too much of a highlight. Van Jefferson also found the end zone as well. Defensively, the Steelers are always what they are. They're good. I mean, I don't know what else to say there. So, Steelers, good job. Moving on. Saints-Giants, boring-ass game. This was awful. Derek Carr got hurt, so Jake Haener came in at the very, very end. But Derek Carr, even before that, was just another Derek Carr game. Alvin Kamara was not very good. Kendre Miller actually came in for quite a few snaps, which was very, very curious. I don't know if we'll see an up snap from Kendre Miller. But, I mean, Alvin Kamara was still the guy in the receiving game, so not too much to worry about in that respect. MVS, the main target of the day. Juwan Johnson found the end zone, though. Otherwise, defensively, both these teams just played it's one of those games where I don't know if the defense played well or both these teams' offense is just shit. Like, both these offenses just were not cooking. I guess the defense for both these teams were fine. Drew Lock, though, unfortunately, I was hoping he would do well, but man, oh, bless Drew Lock. He's just not that good. Tyrone Tracy, though, also not very efficient, all things considering. I guess the defensive lines for both these teams are pretty good, but I thought the secondaries were pretty bad, but beside the point. Malik Neighbors, main target of the day. Daniel Bellinger, Tyrone Tracy also found some receptions. Defensively, again, pretty quiet across the board. Nothing too exciting for the Giants here. Saints pick up the win, so they're less shit than the Giants, but being less shit than the Giants is like, one of the easiest things. So, take that as you will. We continue the train of the New York Jets just cannot pick up a win for the life of them. It's actually impressive how good this team can be with how bad their record is. They're about to have a top pick in the NFL draft. I think they are the second pick or third pick right now. It's insane. It's insane. The New York Jets are 3-10 right now with Aaron Rodgers at the helm, with Devontae Adams as receiver. Like, it's just, it mind blows me. Either way, this is actually kind of a fun game. Both offenses kind of cooked. Both defenses were not great, but I actually really wasn't a whole lot of great defenses this week. Either way, this went to overtime. Miami did pick up the win in overtime. The Jets, Aaron Rodgers, of course, 339 and 1 touchdown. Like I said, he's playing well. Like, the Jets are not playing poorly. Like, they're not great, but they're not poor, I guess. It's tough. And Braylon Allen and Isaiah Davis with Breece Hall out are splitting carries. Both are basically the same efficiency, essentially. Garrett Wilson, the main guy today, but Devontae Adams found more targets. Other than that, nothing too surprising there. Defensively, Jets are pretty quiet. Against the Dolphins at home, it's pretty tough to beat them. Wow, did they both throw for 331? No, Aaron Rodgers threw 339. Tua, though, the Dolphins offense is awesome. If they still have an outside chance of making the playoffs, they probably won't, though. With one more loss, they're pretty much out of it. But 331, 2 touchdowns in warm weather, man, they really cook. And I really don't like being the guy who says, oh my gosh, they can't win, they can't do anything in cold weather. But you cannot look at the Dolphins and say that, like, they've done anything in cold weather. They just haven't. Below 50 degrees, they just don't produce anything. And I don't like that narrative, but, like, they haven't. They really haven't. And so I don't know if that's actually a thing or if that's just a, like, really unfortunate trend. But, man, this team is not. It's just very interesting. It's a very interesting team. Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill finally back to form in their normal roles. Jalen Waddle is getting a lot more involved. Very, very good for him. Defensively, Dolphins, better than the Jets defense, but not as good. Not very good at all. Jags, Titans, talk about the boring game. This is probably the most boring game of the week. This is bad. Mac Jones was just throwing interceptions. Will Levis was throwing, like, very small passes. Very bad game. Jags pick up the win, but against Titans, I don't know what to really even say about that. Mac Jones, he was whatever. Tank Bigsby, he was the main guy over Travis Etienne, which was very, very interesting to see. So Travis Etienne's taking a back seat, I guess. I don't know if it was him he got hit or got injured or something or what, but I didn't watch the game fully, so I kind of just realized Tank Bigsby was like, oh, yeah, he's the main guy. Brian Thomas is still damn good. I guess Travis Etienne's still being used in the reception game, so I guess it's not fully phased out, but damn, that's tough. Evan Ingram, he's there. He exists. He's not as good as he once was. Defensively, Jags were fine. Both these defenses are fine, but really was it the defenses that did the work, or was it just both the offenses sucking? Will Levis, give him credit. He didn't throw a pick. I'll give him that. And threw a lot of attempts too. Tony Pollard, though, is a great running back on a shit team. Welcome to the Derrick Henry role, Tony Pollard. Receiving, Calvin Ridley, he did what he could. I'm sure he'll get some love in the future. Shrug, we'll see what he does. Defensively, Titans did pick up 2 picks, I guess, but he gets Mac Jones, so take that as you will. Moving on, not talking about these teams who are also competing for a first-round pick. Sam Darnold. Actually, I forgot the Vikings have only lost 2 games. Now, granted, I think the Lions have the tiebreaker, but I think they play one more time, so that might actually be pretty insane. I think the Lions will still have the tiebreaker. Wow, I just don't know what to say. For one, this is a masterclass in the Vikings, like, actually just not, or just killing everybody. Like, they went in and they just killed everybody. They were just playing differently. First quarter, even though both teams got a touchdown, you could just tell one team was way better than another. Now, granted, it was gearing up the whole time, and the Falcons had, like, spikes and goodness. But, like, Vikings, by the fourth quarter, were killing the Falcons. I don't know what it is about the Falcons having 21 points scored on them in the fourth quarter. They do it quite often. Either way, the Falcons probably had some of the best plays on. No, they didn't. I tried Falcons. They had some spikes of goodness, but I mean they had some bottoming out. They did not do great. Looking at this, Kirk Cousins 344, 2 interceptions. Like I said, it was not pretty. Kirk Cousins can still throw that ball, but man, the interceptions are pretty rough. Those are pretty key ones too. Bijan got in the end zone. Tyler Algier also got into the end zone, but that's going to happen sometimes. The Falcons were able to lean into the run game quite a bit, but despite that, they just either didn't lean into it enough, or I don't know what happened there. They just fell apart. I guess some bad plays happened on run game where they're like, okay, we gotta pull into the Kirk Cousins game, and then Kirk Cousins throw a pick. So take that as you will. Darnell Mooney is Darnell Mooney. I mean, come on, he's him. I guess that's just the best way to put it. Defensively, the Falcons did play all right here and there. They did get to Sam Darnold a couple times, but they just were not anything in the secondary. Like when I say they got cooked, they got cooked. Now 3 of these, I believe, came from the fourth quarter. I'm trying to remember when Aaron Jones got his rushing touchdown. I thought that was the third quarter, but I may be wrong. Either way, Sam Darnold cooked. I mean, he just went out there and looked different. 22 for 28, 347, 5 touchdowns. Amazing. Aaron Jones, pretty good on the ground. Jordan Addison, man. Considering that Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison almost put the same exact stats, I don't know what's happened to Jordan Addison where he was so bad throughout every single fucking game, and then he just wants to spike for 2 games in a season. I hope that's not a trend for the future. I hope he's like a competent second receiver behind Justin Jefferson in the future, but damn. Either way, Jay Jettas, Jordan Addison cooked on any fantasy team they're on, by the way. They also cooked there, too. Vikings defense, they were pretty all right. I mean, secondary made some good plays, but defensive line wasn't the greatest. They made some good stops on the run game. But, man, the Vikings are a good team. I got to give it to them. Meanwhile, we want to talk about a team that, oh, wow, the Falcons are also 11-2. Damn, the NFC on the top is so good. Holy fuck. It's just one of these things where you realize all this. I will say they did not play very well this game. This is against the Carolina Panthers. I don't know if this is the Carolina Panthers playing better or the Eagles playing worse or both. I think it's both. Because Carolina was kind of cooking in some plays. Well, the Philadelphia Eagles were just kind of leaning into Saquon, and Saquon wasn't doing it this game. Now, usually, again, they get the benefit of Saquon doing well, which I guess, but Saquon, I shouldn't say he didn't do well. He get 124. I mean, sorry. Let me be more clear about that. He didn't do his explosion stuff. Let me kind of clarify that one, because I know I'm going to sound like a fucking idiot saying Saquon didn't do good when he put up 124 yards for 6.2 carries on average. I guess Saquon didn't find the end zone. I guess maybe it's just not as splashy when he didn't find the end zone. I guess Jalen Hurts was the main story when it came to getting into the end zone, rushing-wise. Either way, what I should say is Saquon was very, very good. He got some very efficient runs, but it didn't feel like he got that big, long run of the game where he usually does and finds the end zone or gets 50 yards. I don't know. It was very weird. The Carolina Panthers did well in that regard. Jalen Hurts, though, was not really needed. He didn't. Again, I guess since they kept on getting first downs with Saquon, it really wasn't needed, so he just kind of got into the end zone a couple times. A.J. Brown didn't find the end zone, but Devonta Smith sure did, and so did Grant Calcaterra. I think they're tight end. Cool. Defensively, the Eagles did not look great. This is probably the main focus. Probably should have focused on the Eagles' defense rather than Saquon, because the Eagles' defense was the part that probably almost sold them. Panthers almost got a game-winning reception near the end of the game. I forgot who the receiver was, but he dropped it and kind of landed on the ground, bounced up into his hand. Made some good plays. Bryce Young, while the stats weren't impressive, he played very, very competently. I will 100% say that. When you watch this game, he was not scrambling around, looking like an idiot the whole time. He actually looked like he was making some good plays. Chuba, pretty good, pretty efficient. Jonathan Brooks, ACL tear. Good, cool for him, I guess. Please get healthy soon. Adam Thielen, the main target by far, made all the plays. Xavier Legette, pretty good. I forgot who the receiver was. It wasn't one of those two. David Moore? I don't know. Defensively, the Panthers did play out of their mind. This was their best defensive showing by a decent margin. Like I said, maybe the Saquon thing, because he didn't get a touchdown, is subduing my memory a little bit. But either way, the Panthers made some good plays and kept them in the game. So very, very happy. Indeed. Perfect. And we'll move on to the next game. Sorry, I got an email too, so I kind of got spaced out there for a second. Oh yeah, the Raiders are also 2-11 because they suck. The Bucs were really good. The Raiders really sucked. There's really not much to say here. Desmond Ridder, Aiden O'Connell. Doesn't matter who you put in, copy and pasting. Again, same pretty much stats across the board, except Aiden O'Connell was the one who threw the pick. Sincere McCormick is like the 4th running back they've started this year, so he did good. Good for him. Good for him. He looks like he's explosive. Michael Mayer actually being involved outside of Brock Bowers was a change-up. I don't know if that'll be a constant trend, but I do know Brock Bowers is pretty covered. They have actually been covering Brock Bowers against the Raiders pretty well recently. Every team that has played him, I shouldn't say every team, but like recently they have been covering Brock Bowers pretty well. Jacoby Myers, though, the main receiver there still. Defensively, Raiders, they still got a good defensive line. They made some good plays against Baker. I shouldn't shit on the Raiders too much, but man, it's just the Bucs just kind of killed them. Even though, like, again, there was a couple turnovers. The Raiders made one turnover. It's Baker had them from the very get-go. Made a stupid mistake with a throw, and then one throw really wasn't his mistake. Rashad White without Bucky throughout the whole game was the main guy. He was really effective. Sean Tucker came in for a couple good runs. That was about it. Cade Otton, pretty good target. Mike Evans, I believe, is the most targeted guy. Sterling Shepard, though, finding a role. Jalen Millen found the end zone. So kind of everybody's being used here, and I think the Bucs are still freaking scary to face in the playoffs. Were they 7-7 now? Finally, 7-6. Boom. Look at that. Defensively, the Bucs are fine. I mean, not really much to say. Their secondary is better than the defensive line in this case, but good for the Bucs. They are getting some momentum. I'm going to speed up a little bit. Seahawks Cardinals. Cool game. Seahawks had control of this game pretty much from the get-go. Geno Smith did pretty good. Zach Charbonnet had a day without Kenneth Walker, so it shows that both of these guys will have a role in this offense going forward, I believe. JSN, very good guy. In the first quarter, I believe, he got the touchdown. From there, it was pretty much just Zach Charbonnet's game outside the first quarter. Defensively, Seahawks did well, but against the Cardinals offense, which wasn't really cooking on any cylinder at all, pretty rough. They did get 2 touchdowns. Kyler Murray did throw for 2 ones. I think it was Michael Wilson and it wasn't MHJ. Who was the other guy? It's like another random receiver, I think. Either way, who was it? No, it's James Conner. Okay, no, it's just James Conner. Kyler Murray threw 2 picks. This is a pretty typical Kyler Murray game. He feels like almost like he's a slightly better Jameis Winston and more mobile Jameis Winston at this point, is what I'm kind of realizing. He doesn't throw the ball, but he's just more mobile. He's more of a scrambler rather than the deep ball thrower, so I don't know. Either way, it's a little bit weird. Kyler Murray, decent stats, though. Didn't get the win. James Conner was efficient, I guess. Trey McBride, main target of the day. MHJ still finding a role, but not as much as some other people on the team, like Trey McBride and sometimes James Conner. So we'll see. Defensively, Cardinals pretty quiet, pretty usual for them. They sometimes play very good, but not today. I'll tell you that. The Bears and 49ers. 49ers put up a classic game against the Bears here, putting up some points and showing that they might be able to get into that 7th seed in the playoffs, but maybe too little too late. Brock Purdy played well. Garendo played well. Bears across the board just not good at all. I mean, they just have been rough. Caleb Williams, efficient day. This is basically 134 for 2 touchdowns. He really wasn't the problem. I really shouldn't give him shit. The run game was nothing, and the defense really sold this game. Caleb Williams, when he was asked to make throws, made them, but he wasn't really making risky throws, so it was really not too much. DJ Moore was the main guy doing safe in the end zone, though. Defensively, like I said, they pretty much sold across the board. Meanwhile, the 49ers just put up points across the board. Brock Purdy, 325 for 2. Damn good. Garendo, 2 touchdowns. Damn good. Patrick Taylor came in. It's probably going to be the workhorse for next week. So as they go through their 5th running back, basically. George Kittle, mostly yards. Juwan Jennings found the end zone, though. Defensively, 49ers, Yetur Gross-Mentos found 3 sacks. Pretty good. Leonard Floyd also found 2 sacks. Malik Collins found a sack. Very good day defensive line-wise. Secondary wasn't bad. They were actually pretty efficient. I don't know. It's just hard to describe a secondary that really wasn't part of the offense or part of the game plan as much, because Caleb Williams basically made short throws, so it wasn't that much of a secondary focus game. Rams Bills. Great game. I watched it. It's the main game I watched. I was whole time hoping the Bills win, so the Bills could actually I don't know. So the Bills could actually be in contention for that 1 seed, but whatever. Rams did good. It was actually probably the Rams' best game of the season, because they were the focus. They had the Bills by the balls the whole time. The Bills were coming back at the end. Josh Allen, classic game. Most points as a quarterback in fantasy football history, by the way. Very good for Josh Allen. But it was not enough to pick up a win. 342, 3 touchdowns, also 3 on the ground from Josh Allen. Basically didn't need anybody else. It was Josh Allen. That was the offense. Khalil Shakir came in for a couple. Mari Cooper was the volume guy. But defensively, they just sold across the board. Defense for the Bills sucked this game. Matthew Stafford, easily one of his best games of the season. Shouldn't say of his career, but of the season. Kyron Williams, volume day. Wasn't the greatest efficiency, but he did well enough. Blake Corum came in near the end to kind of subdue Kyron Williams' volume. Puka Nacua, I mean, he's just so good. How is a fifth round quarterback, fifth round wide receiver shit so good? It's just so classic. It's such a classic NFL thing. Great on Puka. Cooper Kupp found the end zone as well, though. He made a great play. Tutu also made a very great play to get them into it was like it's not the last drive, but it was the drive before that. They got him a first down that they really need to burn clock for. Rams defense, though, was not great. They kind of got torched in almost every regard. So it was really just a Matthew Stafford versus Josh Allen game with Puka Nacua as a special guest. And go figure, Puka and Matthew Stafford's going to beat Josh Allen alone. Chargers Chiefs, boring game but fun game. Chiefs Black Magic. No, this wasn't really as a Black Magic game. The Kansas City Chiefs just had control of the ball. They kicked the field goal that was barely went in, but it did go in. Chargers did all right though. Justin Herbert was fine. The running game wasn't really anything, but I don't know if the Chargers really leaned into it this game. So take that as you will. Joshua Palmer was the volume guy while Quentin Johnston found the end zone. Without Ladd McConkey, I'm kind of curious if that's going to be like a trend going forward, is like Ladd McConkey, Joshua Palmer, Quentin Johnston, because Will Dissly did also go down. So their volume guys were gone, so Joshua Palmer found that role there. Chiefs, meanwhile, I mean, Patrick Mahomes has played well. I mean, I can't really fault him at all. Isaiah Pacheco is basically back in full force now, and he was damn good. I mean, he was just good. He was efficient. He made some plays. Wasn't really involved in the receiving game all that much, but he got a couple. Travis Kelce, I think, was the volume guy. Hopkins found the end zone, though. Pretty kind of typical game in that sense. Worthy found 5 receptions, though, which is kind of weird. He didn't get as many long shots this game. It was very condensed. Defensively, Chiefs are still one of the best teams in the league, despite the stats not showing it. They played damn good against the run game against the Chargers and probably killed that momentum going forward throughout the whole game. So good on the Chiefs. You're 12-1. Congratulations. Bengals Cowboys. Bengals needed this win. Cowboys played out of their mind, though. I'm not going to lie. They made some good plays, but they also made some really bad plays. That's kind of the difference here, is the Bengals didn't make any bad plays. They just made good plays, while the Cowboys made good plays and bad plays. Essentially the story of the game. Joe Burrow, 369, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. I mean, come on. This is just Joe Burrow. I mean, this is just classic Joe Burrow at this point. Chase Brown, very efficient on the ground. The guy here in Cincinnati. Receiving-wise, Jamar Chase, the guy in Cincinnati, 14 receptions, pretty insane. 2 touchdowns. Chase Brown also found a reception touchdown. Defensively, Bengals were fine. They're okay. It's one of their okay showings for defense, but could have been better. Meanwhile, Cooper Rush made some good plays. While he didn't make a lot of them, he made some big plays. Rico Dowdle had a very big run. Also some very efficient runs. Don't take this away from him. He had one big run that's subduing his average a little bit, but I mean, he was pretty efficient in the ground, too. He was the reason the Cowboys were still in this game for quite a bit of time. Cooper Rush made some good plays here and there to CeeDee Lamb, for example. But other than that, there was really nobody to make plays on this team. Defensively, Cowboys showed a little bit, but not enough. They did not. They got to Joe Burrow twice, and it was like, okay, sure. And they picked off Joe Burrow once. But sure, when he's hauling the ball for 369 yards, I mean, expect it to happen. Either way, that is the NFL Week 14 Cowboys. I think this eliminates them from playoffs, if I'm not mistaken. Bengals are basically eliminated if enough teams. If the Dolphins and Colts both win. Actually, no, I think it's if the Colts and Broncos both win, I think Bengals are out. So we'll see. Hope you all do enjoy the video, and I'll see you on the next one.